Good morning, everyone. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here. I am glad to be here. Things happen in mysterious ways, don't they? Serendipitously. Some of you may have heard that we've started a podcast. I've started a podcast that's hosted by Nareen Auru Raja, and it's going to happen every other week, every 2 weeks a month, every other week roughly. And it's going to be focusing in on gratitude as it relates to other virtues or other characteristics. And for example, 7 or 8 years ago, I had the opportunity to receive a manuscript written by Stephen M.R. Covey and one of his partners, Greg Link, on the Smart Trust. If you recall, Stephen Covey is probably his Stephen M.R. Covey. Now, this is the son of Stephen Covey and the co-founder of Franklin Covey. Wrote a book, The Speed of Trust, in 2007, which was a huge international bestseller. And he's since added an afterword to it as well, and well worth rereading if you've read it before, well worth reading if you haven't read it. But I had the opportunity to have a manuscript prior to publishing of the Smart Trust. And that gave me an opportunity to sit down with Stephen and also with Greg separately. But I asked them both the same question. Is there a relationship between gratitude and trust? And of course they said yes. And I said, okay, which one drives which? Now, I'm not going to tell you the answer to that. But it was an amazing conversation. Now, fast forward. If my intention is to develop a podcast that really is of interest, that's interested in you, the listener, not just interesting, but interested in you, the listener. Who can I bring on with me? Who can I share this with in such a way that we're actually giving you insights that will help you deal with the VUCA world in which we live today? VUCA meaning volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. That's the intent. So I wrote down in my journal, I have my Empowered Wealth journal that I carry with me everywhere, my intentions around who I would want to have as a guest. Now, 2 weeks ago, the first name on that list, of course, is Stephen M.R. Covey. Now, I'm not kidding you. I went to the airport that night, and I'm walking up to the gate, and guess who's standing there? You guessed it. Haven't seen him in 7 years, and there's Stephen M.R. Covey. And I come up, Stephen, you're not going to believe this. I actually opened up my diary to show it to him. Things happen for a reason. And so we chatted for just a minute. They were boarding, and I noticed that we weren't sitting together. He was up front, and I was in the back, but I was hoping for an upgrade, and I looked, and no, I didn't have an upgrade, but I was at the top of the list. But it was full, so hopefully I can catch him when we land. But as we get on, I got that, they reprinted your boarding pass, and lo and behold, I'm in the same row. And he talks to the person next to me and says, can he swap? They did it, and I spent the next 3.5 hours taking notes and talking as fast as I could. If you could have we could have recorded it, it would have been an amazing podcast. His insights are so powerful and so usable. And so to give you one, for example, that's usable, we operate in this world sometimes in silos. And one of the quotes that really hit me, and for many, many reasons, but it hit me, directly me. It says you can have two trustworthy people working together and no trust between them if neither person is willing to extend trust to the other. Interesting, huh? You can have two trustworthy people working together and no trust between them if neither person is willing to extend trust to the other. Look in business, look in politics, look in our family. He said the ultimate act of leadership is to extend trust. And it's not just a business thing, it's a personal thing as well. One of the great lessons I learned from my wife, Lori, is when how the kids are when they start getting to that age where you set curfews. We're so quick to reprimand them when they're late. But we miss the opportunity to reinforce trust when they honor their agreement and they arrive on time. And she made it a habit to pop up out of bed if they were on time and come to them and say, thank you. Notice the gratitude combined with trust. Thank you for honoring your agreement and making the effort to be here on time. You don't know how far that goes in building trust with your parents. Thank you. So how do we get that multiplier effect from gratitude and trust? I invite you to join us. There should be a link with this Meaningful Monday that you can link to and go in and see the first few episodes, which we introduce gratitude. And then you're going to see a cadre of amazing guests coming along that we can share insights with, thought leaders that will provide you with things that you can act on. So have a wonderful, meaningful week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.